Covenant from Halo invaded the Star Wars galaxy. Let's explore the depths of it in the video. But before we begin, shout out to our channel Sith Lords, Sith Lord 906, Melly Kruger, and Steven Balkovec. We appreciate you.
Your destruction is the will of the gods, and we shall be their instrument.
That message plays non-stop as the Home One surveys the ruins of the Imperial Fleet. This was just one of many recent encounters across wild space since the arrival of the mysterious alien empire. They soon began attacking rebels as well. They weren't just satisfied with wiping out military targets. The Covenant had also rained destruction down on entire worlds as well, turning them to glass. Just as the Home One finishes salvaging what remains and picking up survivors, 10 Covenant ships emerge from the darkness of space.
Defensive formations. All ships prepare for battle.
Hang on. Their flagship is hailing us.
Probably just a gloat. We best get out of here. Wait! I want to see what they have to say. The ship receives the transmission and reveals the mutilated visage of Ratas Vadam. One of the Imperial survivors, General Veers, surges to his feet. Wait! Those aren't Covenant. What do you mean? Those are Covenant ships. Yes, but the Covenant forces we fought don't look like that on the ground. They aren't big lizards. They look closer to apes.
The human is correct. We are not Covenant. At least not anymore. My name is Ratas Vadam, Fleet Master of the Fleet Retribution. We are hunting the Covenant as well.
All right, we're listening.
General, this could be a trap.
No, I sense honesty in the Fleet Master's words. We'll hear what you have to say.
Understood.
Soon a ship arrives, bearing Ratas Vadam and the Arbiter, Thel Vadam, accompanied by a trio of humans, Miranda Keyes, Sergeant Johnson, and Master Chief. What are humans doing with the Covenant?
That is a long story. Our alliance is built on mutual survival. Perhaps the construct can help explain things.
343 Guilty Spark explains that the Covenant has appeared in their galaxy in search of the Ark. He explains how this is a control room for a weapon of mass destruction that can wipe out all life in the Milky Way. But the Covenant believes it is some sort of religious site and hopes, by activating it, they will ascend to godhood. That's insane. This station can do all that? We can't let these aliens use it.
On the contrary, they don't have the key. Only a reclaimer, a human, can activate the Halo array.
Hang on. If only humans can activate these devices, why did the Covenant hate humanity so much?
Because the prophets have built their rule as being our religious leaders. To have another species able to do what they cannot is a threat to their powers, so they deemed humanity heretical and must be wiped out.
That's our story. Now what's happening here? Everything you say seems to line up with what I've encountered. The Covenant emerged from the edges of known space and began wiping out any human presence. They have mainly focused on expanding their defense cordon.
On the worlds they don't wipe out, the Covenant has also begun recruiting allies. Non-human races were being conscripted into their armies. They even reached out to me.
That is why we need your help. The fleet I brought with me is too small to challenge the Covenant's might. We will need allies to reach the Ark.
We've seen what these monsters have done to the worlds they find. I think I can convince the Rebel Alliance to help.
It will not be easy, but there are those within the Empire who might listen to reason. Let me try speaking to them.
We can go present our case.
Although far from ideal, the rebels don't have much choice and allow Veers, Han, Luke, Miranda, Master Chief, the Arbiter, and Johnson to head to the Empire. Meanwhile, Ratas and Akbar will begin gathering forces for the offensive. Veers takes them to Endor, where the Death Star 2 is under construction. Han's eyes widen as he sees the massive battle station being constructed.
Tell your Jiral Hane to calm himself.
That's some spaceball you got there.
Yep, with enough firepower to turn a planet into dust. My fleet was sent from this station. The last I heard, the Emperor was supposed to come here. Using Veer's security code, They manage to get the Millennium Falcon inside, but as they dock, a squad of stormtroopers arrive to secure the ship. At their head is Darth Vader, with his lightsaber ready. Slowly, the group walks out with their hands raised. Vader regards them coldly.
My lord, please, you must listen. I have important information about the Covenant. Their plans are even more mad than we first thought. To stop them, the Rebel Alliance and these Swords of Sanghelios are offering an alliance.
He looks up at the Dark Lord, who keeps his lightsaber ignited. He stares at the blade, expecting it to come down on him. Meanwhile, Master Chief prepares to pull out his assault rifle, but Vader instead turns and beckons them to follow to the bridge.
My Emperor, the Covenant have captured a control center known as the Ark. They intend to activate a weapon system called the Halo Array, capable of eradicating all sentient life in the Milky Way galaxy.
Only the Milky Way? Why should the Empire fear, then? It is a galaxy far, far away. What do they have that can stand against the full might of the Empire if their greatest weapon is useless?
Do not underestimate the Prophet of Truth. His hatred for humanity is unending.
If truth succeeds in the Milky Way, there's nothing to stop him from coming here next. He'd see your empire as a challenge, one he'd be eager to crush.
That is why I believe an alliance with the rebels and the Sword of Sanghelios may be necessary. The Covenant fleet is unlike anything we've faced. They decimated several flotillas, but with the Death Star, we could break through their defenses and strike at the heart of their command.
Palpatine's eyes narrow, deep in thought, and then slowly a smile creeps across his face. He raises a hand to halt any further conversation.
Very well, General Veers. I have never had cause to doubt your capabilities. We shall utilize the Death Star. Allow me and Lord Vader to discuss our strategy further.
An Imperial fleet moves ahead of them while the Death Star 2 is prepared. Vader will lead this advance force to meet with the fleet of Retribution and the Rebel fleet. The first step is to clear the anti-air defenses of the Covenant Defense Fleet to allow the Death Star 2 to pass unchallenged. This will then target the Ark and destroy it. Several smaller fleets are sent to probe the Covenant defenses, drawing enemy ships away from them. Unlike the smaller and unprepared fleets that the Covenant attacked before, these ships are well armed and bring out the best of their different groups. The heavy Imperial capital ships hold their own against the sleek Covenant vessels, while the Rebel Starfighter Corps is far better than the Serpa and Banshee fighters. The massive Covenant redirects ships to counter these raids. This allows the main force to blow right through the shrunken Covenant defense fleet. The combined fleet of the Imperial Star Destroyers, Rebel capital ships, UNSC frigates, and Sangheli battlecruisers emerge from hyperspace. The Covenant fleet, though powerful, is smaller than anticipated. Many of its ships pulled away to counter hit-and-run attacks by the Rebel and UNSC raiding teams. General Veers observes the tactical displays alongside Master Chief and Akbar. He watches as Covenant ships scramble to reorganize their defenses. As they observe, waves of starfighters whoosh out, led by Luke and Han to keep the enemy fleet occupied.
We've thinned their defenses. Now we push through and punch a hole in their front line. Are you ready for this, Master Chief?
Understood. We'll handle the anti-air guns.
The combined fleet presses forward, unleashing a storm of laser blasts, plasma fire, and missiles. X-Wings and TIE fighters fly alongside UNCS longswords and Banshees, disrupting enemy formations while Star Destroyers trade fire with Covenant capital ships, their shields shimmering and crackling. The Millennium Falcon sweeps around, taking out a line of Sherpas and clearing a path for Imperial transports and UNCS Pelicans.
Our task is to keep their forces distracted long enough for Vader, the Princess, and the Spartan to take down those anti-air guns. Keep their ground troops occupied.
You heard them, Marines. Time for some payback.
The Pelicans and Imperial transports touch down, releasing waves of Imperial AT-ATs, UNCS Scorpions, and Rebel combat speeders. Veers leads the charge in his personal AT-AT, alongside Johnson, who commands a Scorpion tank battalion. They advance across a desolate plain towards a Covenant stronghold. Plasma mortars and energy beams rain down on them from Covenant defenses, while Ghosts and Wraith tanks scramble to halt the assault. From the top of the ridge, a hulking Scarab destroyer stands ready, but the armored assault presses forward relentlessly, drawing Covenant fire away from the main assault.
Push forward. Give our strike teams the time they need.
Johnson grins as his tank blasts through a line of Covenant ghosts, sending the vehicles scattering.
Keep those guns hot, Marines. It's time for some payback.
A few Pelicans land on a nearby ridge, with Vader, Master Chief, and Leia Organa moving with a strike team of Rebel soldiers and ODSTs to disable the Covenant anti-air guns that protect this sector. As they approach, Covenant troops emerge to block their path, heavily armored brutes leading swarms of grunts and jackals. Plasma fire cuts through the air, met by blaster bolts and assault rifle bolts.
There's too many of them. We need to break through fast.
Their numbers are irrelevant. Follow me.
Vader moves with a terrifying grace, deflecting plasma bolts and cutting down brutes with brutal efficiency. Master Chief isn't far behind, pouring down fire and cutting down swaths of enemy soldiers. The Arbiter also fires his plasma rifles until he gets close and hurls plasma grenades, clearing the way for Leia and the Rebel forces. Suddenly they break through the Covenant lines and reach the anti-air guns. Chief plants explosives on the first generator, while Vader deflects a volley of plasma blasts aimed at Leia. The anti-air gun soon collapses, its power core erupting.
One down. Let's keep moving.
The team pushes forward, repeating the process across several gun platforms. This time, Rebel and ODSTs move ahead, pouring rocket fire onto the fortified defenses and creating enough chaos for Vader, the Arbiter, and Master Chief to leap through. With the anti-air defenses compromised, the combined fleet begins landing additional forces. But as the ground assault teams advance deeper, they encounter a new wave of resistance. Squads of alien soldiers, not Covenant, but Twi'leks, Duros, Niktos, Weequays, and other aliens oppressed by the Empire stand alongside Covenant forces. A few shout their support for the Great Journey, but most simply open fire, fueled by hatred of the Empire.
Those aren't Covenant.
But they are foes.
Chief glances over to Leia, who nods her head, and the Spartan rushes forward, letting their blaster fire splash against his shield as he guns them down.
The Covenant promised them liberation, and they fought to survive against an empire that oppressed them.
Thankfully, most of these conscripts are poorly trained, and the presence of Vader and the Spartan are enough to break them. Soon they are herded together and captured. But as they are brought together, their captain, a grizzled Twi'lek, slips a blade from his tunic and rushes at Leia. Before he can reach her, the man gasps as Vader grabs onto him and begins choking him with the Force. The Twi'lek writhes in agony, his face contorted with fear as he struggles to breathe. Leia steps forward. Her expression is both horrified and resolute.
Stop! This is brutality. This is why so many have turned against us.
Mercy is wasted on those who strike down their supposed liberators. Do not mistake this weakness for wisdom, Princess.
And yet you expect loyalty from people you've shown nothing but fear and cruelty?
Reluctantly, Vader releases his grip, allowing the Twi'lek captain to collapse to the ground, gasping for breath. Nearby, the Arbiter steps forward.
She is correct. The Covenant promises salvation, but it is a lie. They treat their soldiers, the Ungagi, the Kinyar, with contempt, sacrificing them without hesitation.
If we can get the Covenant's conscripted troops to defect, show them that they're being used, we could weaken the Covenant from within.
They are our foes, Princess. Do not allow sentiment to cloud your judgment. They have already chosen their side.
They chose survival, not loyalty. Many may not even know the full truth of what the Covenant intends.
It's worth a shot.
I can have the Fleet Master send a message.
Officers work quickly, compiling the data. Visuals from Guilty Spark detailing the destructive purpose of the Halo Array, footage of Covenant soldiers brutalizing Ungagi and Kigyar and sacrificing them in battle. They hope these messages will reach not just the conscripted alien forces, but also any Covenant members questioning the Prophet's leadership.
I hope this plan works, Princess. It will. It has to.
Their efforts soon bear fruit, as they hear reports of dissent and defections from all sides. Rebel aliens and even many Covenant soldiers have taken up arms against their masters. The fighting spreads across several pockets in the Ark. They also receive reports that the Death Star 2 is arriving soon.
No, it's too soon. With all these lives still down there, they will perish.
We can't let those people die here. We need to evacuate as many as we can.
I think the Shadow of Intent can evacuate many, and several Star Destroyers can be spared.
All right. They'll break formation to cover evac zones. We'll secure the landing areas. Let's get those people out of here.
Leia, the Arbiter, and Veers gather some elite units to secure the area. Sangheli troopers prove their worth as they rally the disorganized rebels and direct them to evacuation zones. Their strength is more than a match for even the brutes.
All units, establish a perimeter. We need a clear zone for evac. Move those walkers up.
ATA walkers and Wraith tanks roll forward, their massive cannons swiveling and firing on entrenched Covenant forces.
Brothers, we fight not just for Sanghelios, but for all who yearn for freedom. Charge!
With a war cry, the Sangheli, wielding plasma swords, charge headlong into the fray. Energy swords flash as they absorb enemy fire, the Sangheli pushing through Jackals and Ungagi conscripts. Their glowing blades slash through Covenant ranks, cutting down brutes and conscripts loyal to the Prophets.
Keep the line steady. Evac ships are on the way.
In the skies, Luke in his X-Wing and Han in the Millennium Falcon weave through waves of Banshees and Sherpa fighters. Luke's X-Wing spins, taking 2 Banshees that dive toward him.
Han, cover the evac transports. We're taking too much fire up here.
The Millennium Falcon banks hard, Han expertly piloting the bulky freighter through a swarm of Covenant fighters. Chewbacca roars from the co-pilot's seat as he targets the incoming enemies.
I got your back, kid. Just keep them off us long enough to get these people out.
With them keeping the fighters busy, Pelicans and Phantoms break through the atmosphere, ferrying away as many rebels as they can. Even the Forward Unto Dawn descends through the clouds and lowers its hangar for those to climb aboard. Suddenly, a brute chieftain roars defiantly as he smashes through the defenses and rushes towards Leia. Her eyes widen as she stares at the massive gravity hammer. But suddenly a shadow descends above her and blocks the attack. The chieftain stares in surprise as Vader holds him back. But he shoves the Jiralhanae back, who makes several more swings. But Vader leaps up and avoids each attack before swinging his lightsaber and taking the chieftain's head off. Vader turns to see Leia rallying their forces, shouting out orders and looking every bit the leader she was meant to be. For a moment, Vader thinks back to Padme and how she would have done the same thing in her place. He suddenly reaches out and grabs her.
Palpatine will not destroy the Ark. He intends to use it.
What?
He told me this. I cannot allow it to happen, though.
You won't have to. I'm on my way there now.
Within the battle, Luke has no problem reaching the Death Star 2 undetected and landing there. He sprints through the hallways while the Millennium Falcon zooms overhead, aiming at the reactor of the Death Star. As Luke reaches the throne room, Palpatine is waiting for him.
Young Skywalker, did you truly think I would destroy such a wonder as the Ark?
We sacrificed so much to see this station destroyed. I won't let it fall into the hands of the likes of you.
Palpatine's grin widens as he raises a hand and a beam of light flashes from above. 343 Guilty Spark appears, hovering ominously, his red eye glowing.
You must understand, the Ark is key to the Halo Array. I cannot allow you to jeopardize its purpose.
Suddenly, Guilty Spark unleashes a high-powered laser blast. Luke barely has time to deflect them, his lightsaber flashing as he parries just a few shots. But as he draws closer, Guilty Spark unleashes a shockwave that throws him back. The construct looms over him and powers his laser. But suddenly, Darth Vader appears from the shadows and redirects the beam.
The Ark will not decide this galaxy's fate.
Guilty Spark channels another shot, this one pushing Vader back as he tries to block it. But a moment later, Master Chief joins him and charges up his Spartan laser.
Sorry, Guilty Spark. Nothing personal.
The Spartan laser fires a focused red beam that slams into Guilty Spark, damaging the AI's frame and sending him spinning out of control. Sparks fly from the AI's shattered casing as he retreats into a maintenance shaft.
You waste your time fighting over this relic when true power is within your grasp.
Palpatine raises both hands, summoning a wave of dark energy. Luke absorbs some of the blasts with his lightsaber, but the sheer power causes him to stagger. Chief's energy shields collapse under the assault, throwing him behind a nearby console, while Vader stands his ground, deflecting the lightning back with his blade. Palpatine sneers and intensifies his attack, focusing on Vader, who staggers under the immense power. This gives Chief a chance to grab his rifle and open fire, taking Palpatine's attention. As he deflects the attack, Vader draws his lightsaber and rushes at him, with Luke by his side. The two attack with sudden ferocity, putting Palpatine on the defensive. He steps back from the assault and then throws his cloak at them for a moment's reprieve. When they slice it apart, he darts forward and swings his lightsaber in a wide arc, trying to separate them. He then whirls to Luke and unleashes his full power on him, unleashing heavy blows from his lightsaber. When Luke tries to strike back, the Emperor nimbly dodges his attack. But the Chief runs forward, firing his assault rifle and smashing the butt against Palpatine. Seeing the opportunity, Master Chief tries to hit him again while Vader comes from behind. Palpatine's lightsaber flashes and slices through Master Chief's assault rifle while Vader's lightsaber runs him through. The Emperor howls in pain and elbows the Dark Lord's back. The blow sends him reeling and leaves his armor sparking. But Luke lunges forward, pressing his attack, while Chief draws his energy sword and joins him. The two coordinate their strikes, keeping Palpatine off balance. Luke lands a shallow cut across Palpatine's shoulder, while Chief thrusts his sword to keep Palpatine off balance. The Emperor launches one final desperate counterattack. He hurls a powerful blast of force energy, knocking Chief to the ground and sending Luke skidding across the floor.
You cannot hope to defeat me. I am the Emperor of the Galaxy.
Before Palpatine can deal the finishing blow, Vader staggers forward, injured but determined, and plunges his lightsaber through Palpatine's back. Palpatine screams as his life drains away from him and he drops to the ground. But they do not have time to celebrate, as Vader and Luke head to the control center and direct the ship's primary weapon to the Ark, just as Leia reports that they've managed to get everyone aboard. The Death Star's super laser dish aligns, targeting the distant Ark. A faint green glow builds, crackling with lethal energy as the weapon reaches its full charge. With a final pulse, the Death Star unleashes a massive beam of green energy that pierces through the void of space. The Prophet of Truth watches the battle from within the Ark's massive control room, trembling as his armies are defeated and his fleet is in tatters. A glint catches his eye from the viewport, and he squints, just as the green beam of energy from the Death Star reaches the Ark. His eyes widen in horror.
No, it cannot be.
The super laser impacts the Ark, and for a moment there is a blinding flash of green. The Ark's ancient structure cracks under the sheer power of the blast as massive explosions ripple across its surface. The Prophet's screams are drowned out as the entire control room erupts into flames and debris. From outside, the Ark is engulfed in a monumental explosion. Shards of its structure are obliterated, scattered into fragments all across space. Han's comms crackle and he reports he's reached the reactor. A moment later, the entire station shudders as an evacuation order is called.
Follow me.
Chief leads them down the maintenance hallway he used coming in, Vader stumbling behind as he struggles to breathe. The hall leads them to a motor pool where the Chief has a warthog waiting for them.
This path will lead us straight to the hangar. Come on.
Explosions ripple through the Ark's superstructure, causing debris to fall all around them. Chief maneuvers the warthog through the destruction, dodging falling girders, flaming wreckage, and collapsing walls as they race through the doomed station. The warthog skids around a corner, leaping over a makeshift ramp formed by falling support beams, sending them airborne. The vehicle lands with a hard thud, but Chief maintains control, weaving around the obstacles as Luke and Vader hold on tightly. As they near the hangar entrance, a flash of blue light appears before them, and 343 Guilty Spark materializes, his eye glowing ominously. He fires a concentrated laser beam that sends the warthog bucking. Guilty Spark charges up for another attack, blasting Vader across the chest. He tumbles off as a hole burns directly through. Vader rolls painfully to his feet, but he's not done yet. With a final surge of strength, he reaches out with the Force, grabbing hold of Guilty Spark as the AI tries to flee with Vader's lightsaber.
You will not stop us. Keep going, Luke.
In one swift motion, he slashes Guilty Spark apart, the AI sparking and exploding, consuming both of them. Luke casts a mournful look back at his father, but knows they have no time to lose. Chief and Luke speed into the hangar, only to see it in ruins, engulfed in flames. Their escape ship lies crumpled beneath a massive section of fallen debris. Chief glances around, calculating their next move, when he notices a set of stormtrooper armor hanging among the wreckage. Quickly, he hands it to Luke.
Put this on. We're gonna have to improvise.
Luke dons the armor hastily, securing the helmet and adjusting the pieces as best he can. As he has the straps tied, Master Chief grabs hold of Luke and runs out of the hangar, throwing him out before following after him. The two fly out into the void of space, just as the Millennium Falcon flies over them, where the two land on its hull with a loud thud.
For a couple of bricks, they flew pretty good. You guys better not have dented my hull.
With the Covenant defeated, the threat to the Milky Way is ended, and most of the UNSC and Sangheli forces return home. However, few choose to remain to help rebuild. These troops help their alien allies fight for greater rights. Meanwhile, with Palpatine and Vader dead, Veers gains the backing of the rebels and remaining Covenant troops and becomes the new Emperor. His experiences here made him realize how badly the aliens are being treated, and he begins striving to create a more just empire. That's our theory. The Star Wars universe is a galaxy filled with exciting stories and possibilities, and we love exploring them. If you want to accompany us on this journey to a galaxy far, far away, then please like, share, and subscribe to our channel.